Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and felt every eye sizing you up, deciding your worth in a split second? Yeah, that happened to me. And you know what? It was the day I strolled into a private jet showroom wearing a plain white shirt, jeans, and sneakers, no fancy watch, no designer bag. Just me, Jessica Morgan, CEO of a tech company that was changing the game. The sunlight bouncing off those polished jets behind the glass could have blinded me, but honestly, the real glare came from the people inside. You could feel the judgment the moment I stepped in. Sales staff, well-heeled customers, even the receptionist, they all gave me that look. You know the one. Are you sure you belong here? A couple of them whispered as I walked by, and let's be real. I'd heard it all before, but it still stung. I didn't come here to impress anyone. I came for one teen-odd jet that would carry my company's future. As I reached out to touch the gleaming side of a Gulfstream, taking in the cool metal under my fingers, a voice sliced through the air, sharp as broken glass. Excuse me, ma'am. This is a private jet showroom, not a free museum. I turned, met the icy stare of a sales rep, Greg Reynolds. I'd learn his name soon enough, dressed like he'd just stepped off a magazine cover. Arms crossed, chin up, looking at me like I was some lost tourist. I could almost hear his thoughts. Not your place, kid. Actually, I'm here to buy a jet, I replied, calm as I could manage. I wasn't about to let Heim or anyone push me out. Greg smirked, practically rolling his eyes. You got the funds for that? Or did you think a private jet costs about the same as your car outside? The laughter that followed, low and bitter, wasn't just from him. The other clients joined in, trading jokes at my expense. I wanted to tell them I'd built my company from the ground up, that this wasn't the first room I'd walked into where people doubted me, but I held my ground. Sometimes silence says more. Greg leaned in, voice dropping. I've seen plenty like you. Social media types. Pretend for a few minutes and leave. That was his game, make me feel small, hope I'd disappear. But I'd spent my whole life proving people wrong. Still, the pressure mounted. Every insult, every snicker, it was all designed to chip away at me. That's when a twist dropped and someone else entered the scene, and honestly, I wasn't expecting backup. Jessica, that you? Came a deep, confident voice. It was Marcus Bennett, my old college friend, now a renowned civil rights attorney. Marcus could read a room in seconds, and right away, he saw the ugliness playing out. He stepped beside me, calm and composed, his presence turning the tide, just a little. He shot Greg a look colder than the showroom AC and said, for everyone to hear, if you judge people by their outfit or their skin, you're the one who doesn't belong here. Suddenly, the laughter faded. Marcus wasn't just talking to Greg. He was calling out everyone in that room. Some folks shuffled, embarrassed, while others just glared, unwilling to back down. But Greg, emboldened by the crowd, tried to recover. We have a reputation to protect. Not everyone qualifies to be here. That's when the real heavy hitter arrived. Richard Davis, the kind of guy who owns half the city's hotels, sauntered over. His words dripping with wealth and arrogance landed hard. If you truly belong, prove it. Don't waste our time. The challenge was clear. Either I fold and slink out, or I stand and show them all what I'm made of. You ever have that moment where your pride says, enough? Yeah, this was mine. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and let Richard see the numbers. No brag, just fact. Mr. Davis, if you need proof, here it is. But maybe it's time you update your definition of worth. The room went dead silent. The people who'd mocked me looked away, embarrassed. Greg's jaw nearly hit the floor. The only sound was the faint buzz of the showroom lights. But I didn't stop there. I reached into my pocket and held up a check, made out for the exact price of the jet. The number on it sparkled under the lights, louder than any insult they'd thrown my way. No one spoke. Richard stared, stunned. Greg looked like he wanted to vanish. It wasn't just about money. It was about respect. I looked Greg in the eye, my voice steady. Never judge a person's worth by appearances. I'm not just buying a jet, I'm buying the dignity I deserve. In that moment, you could feel the shift. The same customers who'd laughed before now watched me with something like respect or maybe shame for their own behavior. Then, in the most cinematic twist of all, Greg scrambled to apologize, stammering, desperate to save face. Miss Morgan, I'm so sorry. Let me handle this personally. I stopped him with a look. No. I won't do business with anyone who can't see past a first impression. The words hung in the air like a verdict. Greg turned pale. Richard Davis stepped aside, finally understanding what humility felt like. I left that showroom, head high, sunlight on my face, Marcus beside me. I'd won, but not with anger. With resolve. The battle wasn't just mine, Anna Maria, it was for everyone who'd ever been told they didn't belong. But here's the thing about real stories, they don't always end with a tidy bow. In the days that followed, Marcus and I took it further. We gathered evidence, audio recordings from a young employee who'd seen it all and was brave enough to testify. The case went to court. The evidence was damning. Voices on tape, mocking and belittling, all because of my skin and my style. The judge didn't hold back. She called it what it was, racial discrimination, and slammed the company with a fine, a public apology, and mandatory anti-bias training. Greg lost his job. Richard Davis, his reputation bruised, promised to do better. And me? I got justice. Yes, but more than that, I sent a message nobody in that industry would forget. A few weeks later, I walked back into that same showroom. Not to buy, just to make sure the lesson stuck. I told them, calm and clear, respect is not optional. Every person who walks through these doors deserves it, no exceptions. Some staff nodded. Greg couldn't meet my eyes. Richard Davis apologized in front of everyone. For once, I believed him. I didn't need revenge. I just needed to see real change, and I think, in that moment, they got it. Afterward, Marcus and I headed to a competitor's showroom, where I was welcomed like any valued customer. No one cared about my outfit or my skin color. They cared about my vision, my story, my business. I signed for the jet I dreamed of, feeling prouder than I ever had, because this time, I wasn't just fulfilling my own dream. I was breaking the cycle. That night, I sat at my family's table and told them the whole story. The pride in their eyes said everything. No one's value is written on their sleeve, I told them, and no one ever deserves to be judged for the wrong reasons. Marcus agreed, and for once, I let myself just enjoy the victory, not just for me, but for everyone who's ever been underestimated. And somewhere across town, Greg sat alone, finally understanding what real regret feels like. Richard Davis made changes in his own company, and as my story spread, more people found the courage to stand tall in the face of injustice. So if you've ever been judged, doubted, or pushed aside, remember, your worth is yours alone to define. Never let anyone take that from you. And if you believe in what you just heard, go ahead, share your thoughts below. Was justice served, or is the fight still on? I want to hear your stories, your thoughts, your battles. Because in the end, justice isn't a finish line, it's a journey we walk together. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. And until then, stand tall. You know what I mean?